Testing. 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 Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, looks like it's just you and me for now.
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, thank you.
That's great. That's great. We'll get into it with announcements, but looks like we'll be able to hopefully wrap up our Hope Not Handcuffs project soon. There's a few things that they need still for the bins at the police station, and we'll talk about that, once we get more people. But if you were interested in helping out there, that would be something. But we'll talk more about that. And we have the cleanup coming up.
Yes, the cleanup. I got my tickets for the cleanup.
Excellent. Fantastic. We can have you if you wanted to. I mean, you could come with us over on John Hicks, or even Newburgh. You're not far from Newburgh along there, where the Rouge River comes through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Milton and I went walking there yesterday, and there's quite a bit of trash along the road. You don't have to, it's between the road and the river, but you don't have to be far, just to pick up, stuff. And hopefully we'll have those things where you can grab them, those claw things that you can pick things up, so you don't have to touch them with your hands. And
okay.
But we'll talk about that. That'll be a good project, I think. Get everybody outside and
yeah. And the weather is warmer now, so
let's hope it stays, though. April can be really cruel here.
Yeah, that's what my sister said.
You're from Alabama, but it can be very cruel. We've had an easy March, really. Usually March is horrible. I hate
really?
March in Michigan, yeah. But it's been great this year. We've had a wonderful March. Really.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's supposed to be close to 70 again today.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to be working in my yard later on.
Yeah. It's a good day to do that.
Yeah. So I'm not familiar with this area, and I want to ask some of the members if they know of any roofers.
Oh, okay.
And I know that I can call the Wayne Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of any myself. I mean, the person I used to use had died a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's certainly something you can ask.
Okay.
I belong to something called Nextdoor, and it's an app where people talk about things like that. Hi there. Hi, John. Bridget's coming in. I can send you a link to the app, and somebody was just on there asking about roofers.
Okay, good.
The problem for me is, as a former district court judge, a lot of the people that came in front of me happen to be roofers, for various criminal offenses, so I kind of have a distrust of roofers, You
Oh,
know,
really?
not that I've ever had a bad experience with them, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so the one that my father-in-law used for years did a horrible job for us. Not roofing, but another project we hired him to do. He did a horrible job. So I can't recommend him, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we live in a condo now, so we don't have to worry about, the roof. But
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
John Van Stiptonk may know who did the roof at our condo association. So hi,
Okay.
Bridget. Hi, Dave.
Hello,
Hi, David Carpenter.
hello, Alva Tate.
Alva was just asking me if anybody knows of a good roofer.
Farron is a good roofer, although he's relatively expensive by comparison.
You know, he died.
No, I didn't know that he died.
He died like 2 years ago, maybe a year. It hasn't been that long, but he did pass away. He was the one that I would have recommended to Alva, but he did pass away, I think unexpectedly. So I don't have any recommendations for Alva. He was the only one that I knew. But oh, our guest is here. Hey. I gave Rob the option of joining us a little later since we were going to start with fellowship this week.
Yeah.
But I guess he elected to be part of our fellowship, which is great. Good morning. Hi, Shar. Am I too loud, everybody? I'm hearing an echo.
Well, you're not too loud for me.
Okay. If anybody thinks I'm too loud, speak up. Okay.
I'm kidding.
All right.
You got your audio on, Charlotte?
I do.
Good morning, Charlotte.
Good morning.
Good morning, Milton.
Well, it looks like he's out in the woods.
Yeah.
He's at our cottage, sitting on the deck.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, in his mind, that's where he is. It would not
Oh.
look like that, right? In his mind, yes. It's a picture, just like I have a picture of the flag behind me, so that when we do the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll have something that we can look at.
Okay.
Let's admit the people in the waiting room. I see Stan is with us today. And Bob Pugh, yay. Welcome, everyone. Let's use these next couple minutes to greet people and
Hello, Bob.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hi, everybody.
hi.
Hi, Bob.
Good to
Cindy,
see
your
you.
husband said say hello.
Oh, is he back yet?
He's back. I think he's headed back out again.
And we have with us Helen Glandon. She is a potential new member. Welcome, Helen. Glad you could be here.
Oh, I
And
am
also
too.
Stan, a potential new member.
Hi, Stan, and hi, Helen.
How are you?
This is Alva.
Elmo.
Alva's a brand new member of our club.
Oh, good.
So, and like I said, Stan is a potential member. We're going through the process with him and also with Vivian, who's not yet here, but
Okay.
it's in a way, Zoom has been a bit of a blessing, in that, maybe people wouldn't be able to come for a whole hour, to the library, which is where we used to meet. And so this is I'm not, Shara went to Pets and she mentioned that some clubs are considering a hybrid, where you have both a Zoom component, have a camera that records everything that happens at the live meeting and puts it on Zoom. So for those people who can't leave their house or don't want to for whatever reason, can participate. So that may be the future of Rotary, who knows?
Okay.
Okay.
That's for sure.
We did
Yeah.
that with a Bible class at our church where we had a live component and a Zoom component. The only problem we had was if you're leading the meeting, somebody else has to be the person admitting people and overseeing the Zoom component.
Right.
You can't be the person leading and also the person trying to
That makes sense.
manage the Zoom component of it.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
that makes sense. I'd like to look into that, and
Mhm.
for Char, Char's our incoming president, so it'll be her call, plus the board
Mhm.
to decide, but I think it's certainly worth looking at. And
Yes, it is. I'm in a BNI chapter. We've met, the whole time over Zoom. Well, and we're considering maybe a hybrid, like you said, maybe that after, but our attendance, we meet at 7 o'clock in the morning. And, but our attendance has been up in the upper 90s every meeting. So
wow, that's
it's a good thing.
fantastic.
It's a good thing. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there are some benefits, definitely some benefits. I think
Mhm.
people miss seeing people in person. And maybe, if we do go to some kind of hybrid, maybe we could have 2 meetings in person per month and 2 by Zoom, that would,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
who knows? There are some clubs I know that are experimenting with that kind of
Okay.
arrangement.
Okay.
But, Rotary
Yes.
is known for meeting weekly. That is
Yes.
kind of what we're known for. Oops,
Right.
Sorry. My home line. Oh, no, it's my cell phone. Well, I'm sorry. Bill, I'm actually on a Zoom call right now. Can you come by later, like 1 o'clock or so? Okay, thanks. All right, bye-bye. That was Bill Sexton from the Wayne 100 Club.
Oh, and just a side note for you, Laura, real quick, is I did pay my dues last
You
year.
did. Thank you.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we belong to the Wayne 100 Club. I think most of the people here belong to it. But the only requirement for the Wayne 100 Club is that you pay $100 a year and you're considered a member. And Stan, I imagine we'll be inviting you to join because I don't think
Okay.
you're a member.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we meet once a year at a member lunch where we talk about how we spent the money. We have 100 members, and the 100 members each pay 100 a year. And then we spend the money for a one-time financial emergency, somebody facing eviction, somebody who needs money to pay
Oh,
a medical bill.
Looking
Yeah.
glasses.
Medicine, we bought medicine,
Medicine, a lot of times utility bills.
utilities.
And
things
it was started by a Demmer.
Yes, by Jack Demmer
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
back in the 70s. In fact, Milt was one of the charter members.
And actually,
Well,
not
that
only,
letter-
not only am I one of the charter members, but I have never made it to lunch. I
Yeah.
was either working in downtown Detroit or working in Lansing. So now I can finally attend lunch and you cancel lunch.
Can't have it.
I may never have lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually Helen and I are on the board of the Wayne 100 Club. And we're always looking for board members. So anybody, and Lois also, I apologize, Lois also. And we're always looking for board members. Anybody is interested, and also John Racy is also on the board. He's
Okay.
joining us now. But it's a really easy organization to belong to since there's virtually nothing you have to do except send a check,
Unless they convince you didn't pay your dues last year, and then they found out that you did pay your dues, so you felt bad you paid them again. So I'm ahead for them now, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing is,
And I believe, I convinced myself too that I had. But anyways, it's a good organization, and it's all the grants seem to be very deserving, and just come through, through our email, and we meet a couple times a year. So it's
yeah,
not bad at all.
a lot of our referrals come from the schools. Because
Okay.
kids, you know, the teachers, counselors see kids who are struggling, who don't have a lot. And
Mhm.
so they usually come through the schools, but this year we haven't had many referrals because kids haven't been in school.
Ooh, yes.
So it's been difficult to
Mhm.
get the word out. We don't really advertise because we don't want to be inundated.
Mhm.
But it's
Mhm.
it is available for people, and we get referrals from churches, also
Okay. Okay.
from other city. Sometimes the city of Wayne, you know, comes
Okay.
across people who are in need. So
Okay. Okay. I noticed Amanda Dybus is in the audience. I don't know whether she's part of Rotary, but she can also refer
yes,
kids, you know, that type of this
I do.
in the
Yes,
school.
I give her the Family Resource Center of the Wayne Westland School District.
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
she has referred people in the past, and she has our grant application, so she knows.
Wow.
They work with the homeless population. You know, we have quite a
Yes.
few kids that attend our schools that are homeless. So,
Wow.
I see that Rob Demmer's here. He's got himself, his video's not on.
Yeah, you know, being the young techie guy, I'm running into some technical difficulties myself.
Sorry about that.
What are the odds? So I'm gonna keep working on that, but I'll let you guys carry on. And
Okay.
in the worst case scenario, you'll just be looking at a blank photo of me. But I have a nice.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Rob, I'm
Yeah.
in the office if you want to come over here.
You know what? I'm down at the garage right now.
Okay.
That could be why. Okay, well, let's get started then. It's already 10 after 12. So let's go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance before we get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
States of
America, and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
Indivisible,
liberty
with
and
liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Good. Welcome to our guests again. We have Helen Glandon and Stan Shelton. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us today. And
Thanks for
also
having
Rob
me.
Demmer, of course, our speaker. I do want to make a few announcements before we get started with the speaker. We did have our board meeting last week. Trish did the minutes. I'm going through them, just making sure that they're in final form before we distribute them. Hope Not Handcuffs did have its media launch last Tuesday. Thank you to the Rotarians who attended. We were pretty well represented there. Anybody interested in becoming an angel, you can let me know and I'll direct you to the website, the Hope Not Handcuffs website. There's a big banner that says, you know, click on this if you'd like to become an angel. It's a good organization. I hope we're able to help people. I really do. I think it's needed. So time will tell.
Mhm.
Next week, we have our evening meeting, but we do have a speaker. It's John Musick, president of the South Sudan Leadership and Community Development. He is working with the Grosse Pointe Rotary Club for a project that's helping 2 refugee camps for people from Uganda. So it's a civil war refugee camp that they're helping. So that should be interesting. I'm interested to hear all about the project. So that will be our evening meeting next week. And then we do have, I believe there's a board meeting. We're going to have either a board meeting or a committee meeting for the concerts in the park. To those of you who don't know, Rotary sponsors concerts in the park every summer, every Wednesday in July and August. It's a big draw. We sell raffle tickets and beer in the past, and we've made quite a bit of money from it. And it's also beloved by the community. I mean, the people in Wayne and also surrounding neighborhoods, Westland, Inkster, Romulus, they love it. They absolutely love coming to our concerts in the park. Draws a lot of people. We weren't able to do it last year because of, there he is. We weren't able to do our concerts in the park last year because of COVID. We're hoping that we're able to this year, but there are obviously a lot of logistics, a lot of concerns that have to be worked out. Wayne County, you know, has issued a state of emergency for indoor meetings. They are prohibited, I guess, pretty much until the end of June. I'd like to find out obviously what the guidelines are for outdoor meetings, outdoor events, and what Rotary is proposing, because Rotary International has suggested to clubs that they not meet in person until the end of June. So all of those are considerations, and I'm fine with meeting this Thursday evening at 7, if everybody else is okay with that.
Laura,
Yes,
that thing from the county has to do that they issued a state of emergency, and it's for indoor meetings because of the cities having council meetings, because there's cities that don't have facilities that are large enough to be able to handle it. That's why there's an emergency. That's what that order is all about.
okay.
Because
okay,
the governor hasn't issued the order yet for keeping them on Zoom. And so they did it, and we're waiting for the governor to do something. So that's really what it has nothing to do with anything else. As you see, Comerica Park is now, up to 8,000 people. I mean, the outdoor things are different.
Right,
So that has nothing to do with it.
right, obviously. Okay, good, thank you. All right, that's helpful to know.
The challenge we're going to face, though, is there's presently a rapid increase in infections in Michigan, in particular Wayne County. The 7-day average last week was 350. We had 694 yesterday. So that doubled in a very short period of time. So,
Part of Milt's job is to, as State Court Administrator Emeritus, is to determine whether courts can go back to jury trials. So he is up on all the numbers, all the infection rates, all of that. So that's why he is very knowledgeable about this, because it affects jury trials and courts. So
we're in a race between vaccinations and infections. Can we vaccinate enough people to slow down the rate? Otherwise, the trajectory is heading in the same direction as last fall.
yeah, so this is a challenge, obviously. It's a challenge for all of us. So we'll meet on Thursday. Hopefully we'll have a little more information then, so we can make some decisions. But I have a feeling that any decisions we make are going to be temporary until it's closer,
Is that at 7?
7's fine with me. Is that okay with you, Shar?
Well, Wayne Main Street has a board meeting at 6, so I
Okay,
have to go from one to the other.
Shar?
You're talking about this coming Thursday, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Upcoming speakers we have after next week, we have April. We have our new member Alva, April 6th. We'll talk about her company, the Knowledge Network. April 13th, Stan Shelton will talk about the Chamber of Commerce, what's going on there, and also his photography business. April 20th, we have Victoria Kennedy. He'll talk about Saints Incorporated, a new company in Wayne. April 24th is our cleanup, our big cleanup day. And Lori Morrow tells me that we have over 77 volunteers who have signed up through the website already.
Wow.
So this has been phenomenal.
Nice.
Go to the Wayne Main Street website and sign up, please.
Yes, anybody who hasn't signed up should do so, please. I'll send out the flyer again. It's posted on our Facebook page, and I think it's also on our Club Runner website. So, but I'll send it out again to everybody. And I see Vivian is joining us. Welcome, Vivian.
Hi.
Another new proposed member. April 27th, and this was John and Lois's idea. We're going to have a virtual cocktail party. Our evening meeting, and John and Lois, we're going to tell us what ingredients we need and how to mix them. And we're going to be mixing our cocktails and sharing them via Zoom the evening of April 27th. That's also when we elect our officers. So we could probably elect our officers first before we start drinking.
Yeah, you never know who might.
You just never know,
Yeah.
I signed up for that.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Yes, sure.
I've spoken with Carol Brevard, and she has agreed to be president-elect for the coming year after that.
Fantastic.
And we'll be working together this year. So I'll be working with her the following year, because we'll both be helping each other. We'll get up to speed on what we need to do.
That's great. That's wonderful news. Thank you for
Yep,
sharing that.
so there, we got two years covered there, and we'll need to find a president-elect for 23, 24.
Wonderful news. Thank you. My last announcement, just as we are looking at revising our bylaws to allow voting by email and other things. So it's been circulated to the board. Once the board passes on it, we'll send it to all the members as required by our current bylaws, that they be approved by a majority of our members. So that's also being worked on. I hope to get that done by the end of my year, which is rapidly approaching, 3 more months. So, okay, that's all my announcements. Anybody have anything else before we go ahead and have our speaker? Okay, no other announcements? Okay, all right, then it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Rob Demmer. I'm going to let him finish introducing himself and tell us all about the new models.
Thank you very much, Laura. And thanks again for the whole chamber for having me out and speaking about some of the new Ford products that are here and on the way. Right now at the dealership, I bounce around. I work in a couple different areas, but if you've ever come in, you ever had like a cell phone issue or the sync touchscreen issue, you probably either seen me or Bob helping you out. So I'm the tech guru around the dealership. But I got a little PowerPoint presentation to take you guys through. So let me see if I can get this to work by sharing the screen now. Can everyone see that?
Yes, we can see it says Rob Demmer sharing his screen. There it is.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Hey, that's one more thing out of the way for me now. No more technical difficulties. So we'll get right into it. I know everyone's been waiting around for it, but the Ford Bronco will be making its return this summer. We actually just had a little event yesterday. It was a Bronco and the 2021 model year preview event. So we had a full-size four-door Bronco in our showroom yesterday, and it's quite a hit. People were all in there, got to put their hands on it. Of course, after sanitizing it and re-sanitizing it, all COVID friendly. But yeah, the Bronco's back after 25 years, and they're going to start the full production at the Wayne Assembly Plant this May. So everyone's eagerly waiting them to start the full productions, because right now they've got those the pre-production, those prototypes. You've probably seen them up and down Michigan Avenue. They're certainly testing them, making sure they're going to be perfect by the time they arrive at the dealerships this summer. And they definitely built these vehicles with the enthusiasts in mind. There's a couple different directions you can go, depending how sporty you want to get with your Bronco. Because for anyone that just wants their typical daily driver, those options are certainly available. But they offer a lot of off-road capabilities as well for everyone that does want to take these vehicles on the trail. Some of those options include the vinyl leather seating that's easy to wash out. They have the washout floors, so you're not going to have carpeting on the inside. You have drain plugs in there, so if you get plenty of mud or snow or just gunk in there, again, just take a power hose to it, wash that sucker out, and drain the floors, and you're good to go. And on the technology side, they've even included some trail maps. So I included a photo of what that would look like. So when you take these vehicles off road, they've got a database of different trail maps that you can tap into while you're driving, and direct yourself around so you don't get lost in the woods. So again, that's just one of those features that they kept in mind for those who are a little bit more adventurous than just your typically daily driver. And then moving forward, I'm sure everyone's seen, and heard the buzz about the electric Mustang, that Mach-E. Those are certainly, getting a lot of attention right now. It's a little controversial, with slapping the Mustang badge on it. I understand some people don't like the electric Mustang, but I'm here to say I'm a believer now. Now that I've sat in one, driven it myself, it's definitely earned that Mustang name. It's got some power behind it. And then plenty of technology going into these vehicles as well. But you don't have to worry. They are keeping, your traditional Mustang here. It will be getting a little facelift for the next model year. And then there are some rumors that they're going to move the electric direction, but again, you're still going to have access to getting that traditional Mustang coupe vehicle and just more performance behind it now. And then the stuff that I really geek out about is the technology they're putting in these vehicles. In addition to just drive with some of the Ford Copilot 360 features that include those cameras, and you have the automatic emergency braking, and you have these 360 views, just everything that, again, get around, making it safer for you. They're including in the new Sport platform over-the-air updates. And what that means is for a lot of these recalls, you don't need to come into the dealership. You can simply download the, much like you update your smartphone, right? Every so often you'll get that update and you say, okay, you either got to be at home on your Wi-Fi, or, sometimes you can just do it over, your cellular network. That same principle is going to be applied to these vehicles. So, the next time you get if it's like, oh, this airbag module needs to be reprogrammed because it's just off a hair, before it's like, oh, you got to get in the dealership and you got to see if the technician's available, and you got to make sure, can you get a car? It's like, what? Now you don't even need to leave your driveway. They'll send that update right to you and save you some time. And then in addition to that, they've increased their wireless capabilities. For those folks that like using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, if you're driving a Ford vehicle now, you got to plug that in to get it to work, which again, you got to remember to have your cord and, make sure it's the right one for charging and whatnot. But, going forward, they're getting away from that now. So you'll be able to have those same functions without having to remember to bring the cable. And then right now, the new 21 F-150 is that first vehicle that's going to be running on all these new updates on that Sync 4 Platinum right now. And later this year, they're going to begin rolling out those over-the-air updates. So again, they're using the F-150 as the flagship to kind of get people introduced to this technology and real excited about it. But again, these newer Ford vehicles, you're going to start seeing it on the new Edge, the new Escape. It's already on the Mach-E vehicles. But again, as they continue to revamp some of the lines and introduce new vehicles, you're going to see more of these capabilities. It's just smarter technology and even more user-friendly technology. A lot of the voice commands, they've really they've overhauled it and made it a lot more user-friendly. If you guys are familiar with the Amazon Alexa, or using Siri on your phone, or like the Hey Google, all those kind of features, Ford's definitely stepped up to the plate and said, okay, our system may need some tweaking here and there, but now it operates a little bit more closely to those voice systems, where instead of having to speak to it a certain almost robotic way, direct me to this address, 1234 Main Street, you can speak a little bit more casually to it, and it's going to understand you a little bit better, and get you to where you need to go, or again, change the radio station or whatever you tell it to do. It's going to be smarter in that aspect. So smarter technology, but easier to use. So nothing to be worried about there. They've definitely listened to consumers, who've run into some issues, and again, they're continually making it better. And again, the great part about this new technology is a lot of the updates that they need, or the tweaks that they want to do, you don't necessarily need to stop by the dealership to do it. They'll just be sent it over to you at no cost.
Oh.
And if anyone's interested in seeing kind of what that Bronco event looked like, or interested in keeping an eye on the new Ford products going forward, make sure to check us out on social media. We got our Facebook account, the Jack Demmer Ford account. We have a couple videos posted of the event yesterday, so even if you weren't there in person, don't feel like you're missing out. We had one gal do a live stream, so you can go in and you can see her talk about the new features on these cars and do walk around. So pretty much like you were just there yourself. And then if any of you folks are interested in reaching out to me or connect with me online, I'm certainly happy to get in touch with you folks online. I put my contact information down there as well for my Facebook page that I run, as well as an Instagram page if you guys want to see any of the nice photos of cars that I like to post. But again, I want to thank Laura Mack for inviting me out to do this event today. And it's certainly a pleasure being able to speak to you guys about all the new Ford products that are here and will continue to be on the way.
Rob, would you mind unsharing your screen?
Yes, yep.
Oh,
Right.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions? I know I have a few.
So what is the range of the all-electric Mustang?
So right now with the standard battery pack they have on it, it gets you about 300 miles, and then they will be offering an extended battery pack, and it should be closer to 5 if I'm not mistaken. And if Bob's still on the call, I'm sure he can pull that info up a little bit quicker than me.
Any plans for a self-driving car, like in the next few years?
Yes, you know what? That technology is on the way as well. When I've looked around the Mach-E and I've talked to some of the engineers, I mean, they've got all the hints that they could maybe roll it out at one of those updates. I don't know if they'll certainly make it on this one, but a lot of the features that they are rolling out are kind of what I like to call, like almost like hybrid self-drive. Like they're not totally automated. The driver still has to, be in control in some aspects. But things like the adaptive cruise control, where you set it and you forget it. I mean, the car it'll pull up to the car behind you, and of course not crash it, but it'll follow and stop and start itself. And they're adding more technologies to the vehicles now with those cameras too. Again, they can read speed signs and adjust the speed accordingly. They can detect stoplights and stop signs. That way you're not, cruising right through an intersection or doing anything too crazy. But they're continually adding those features. But I think we're still a few ways, a few years away from a fully autonomous vehicle. But again, those technologies they're getting there. They're getting there.
Will the batteries be affected by cold temperatures?
Yes, they will be. I even noticed when we've got our first Mach-E in, it was about a month and a half ago. Still had some snow on the ground and chillier temperatures, and it does reduce the battery life on it. Not a terribly substantial amount, but you even get prompted when you park the vehicle. It says, "Hey, it's cold outside. Make sure to plug me in because there will be a little extra drain on the battery." So you might be ballpark just maybe 50 or so miles kind of off your total range. So again, nothing too crazy, but yeah, definitely something to be aware of.
How about charging stations for driving around, like going up north or out to Chicago?
Yeah, so with the charging stations, give me 1 second. I'm just going to try and get my webcam working again. Easier to speak. There we go. So with the charging stations, what they're doing is on the Ford Pass app, they're including maps now that'll bring up all those charging stations that the Mach-E is available to. So there's a whole network that it'll bring up and kind of tell you again what is a normal charging station, maybe what is a fast charging station. So that way you can kind of plan your trips accordingly. And they are sprinkled about, as far as it goes in northern Michigan, I can't guarantee there's a lot up there. But again, you'll have this map at your fingertips to see where they're available, and then that map's also in the car. One of the commands you can tell the Ford system is like, "Hey, find me a charging station," and it'll blow up the map on there, and it'll show you like, okay, you've got 2 over here, maybe a few more in Ann Arbor, and again, it'll tell you again more information on those charging stations.
I got some mileage here for the electric car. And this is on the Ford consumer site. With the extended range rear-wheel drive, it's around 300 miles. There's an all-wheel drive that is 270. And again, these are all estimates. It'd be 211 on the low side. Back to the milk question about cold weather. Cold weather does affect these. And also you got to remember your climate control will affect your distance. So The interesting item here is that you will get more range running around town because every time you brake or slow down, the regenerative braking system recharges that battery a little bit. So Milt, I'm not quite sure you're ready to drive one up north yet. You're going to be at the extent. And then also as an FYI, the charging box that needs to go in the house is $795. And then you still need an electrician to install it. So you're going to have some added costs there, but you're going to have a great savings on operating the vehicle. There's no oil to change. Got to remember to rotate your tires, things like that. But it's going to be a cost-effective option.
I'd like to know what is the charging time required of one of those fast charging stations?
So I'll answer that, Rob, unless you have more details.
Nope, go right ahead.
Well, so it's changed a little bit on the electric. The 110 is really not going to be an option, although the cord is always there, but it could take you something like 30 hours. So they're expecting everybody to go to a 220. And so if the battery is totally dead, they're expecting between 7 and 10 hours of charging time, which if you're just doing your normal running around, you're going to plug it in at night and you're okay. If you use a quick charging station, it can be done in about 3 hours.
So you have to plan that into your day.
Well, more of your distance driving like Milt was talking about, because having the place up north. But I think if you're just running around town here, even if you're running 200, 250 miles a day, which is a lot, the car would service you wonderfully.
Yes, but you're right. If you're making a distance drive, you have to plan that into your trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have just a comment to make. I was watching social media about the freeze in Texas and people using their F-150 to generate their houses as a generator. And I wonder if you could tell us a little. I never knew that about the F-150, but there was a generator on the truck that you can use to power your home.
Wow.
Yep. So those generator and the onboard power systems are on the new F-150s right now. You can get it equipped a couple different ways. They've got like almost like a workbench package, and it gives you like a fold over bench in the front and a workspace in the cab of the truck. And then a lot of the hybrid models are including that onboard generator in the back. So right in the truck bed, you've got a couple outlets there. And again, you can plug in your normal appliances and run it. And they've got a few different ranges of again, depending on what sort of power you need, and you can kind of get a low end one where, if you want to just hook up a couple lights or something, but they got full blown ones where you can put in space heaters, and you can run some heavier equipment off it, or even power tools, for people going to the job. So yeah, that was a great story that came out of Texas, where again they were getting all these F-150s off the dealers and sending them the folks there to get them through that cold snap.
Yeah, I was amazed. I was a business major, and I always love stories like that. I'm sure that was a great marketing, tool that of course you didn't pay for, you didn't anticipate. But that's the best kind of advertisement you can get is, somebody putting on Twitter that they powered their house in Texas with the F-150 generator, and just with an ordinary extension cord. It's just pretty cool.
This is for Charlotte. There is a $7,500 tax deduction for buying a full electric vehicle.
Whoa.
Thanks, Bob. Might be my next vehicle.
I'd love to show it to you.
Okay.
Hugh, I have a question on that F-150. So is it a requirement that the engine is running at idle speed all the time to generate that electricity?
It depends on what engine you have and what power supply the truck has, because there's so our trucks for the last 5 or 6 years have had a 110 400 watt plug that I always joke with the ladies that you can plug in the hair dryer or the curling iron and it would work just fine. Ford has moved that plug back to the back of the truck. but yes, the vehicle has to be running for that. If you get the full hybrid model, which is really a game changer for us, it does not have to be on all the time. The engine's just charging the battery, the battery's then running the outlets, and it has a full 220, 40 amp service, I think. So the display that I went to, they actually ran a welding unit off of the truck.
Okay, so, but it was still, regardless, if you have a situation like in Texas, it behooves you to have a full tank of gas.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta have gas to run these things.
Okay.
I have a question about what's going on at Ford right now. I know there's some construction going on at the plant on Michigan Avenue. You want to tell us just briefly what's going on over there?
Absolutely. So that is tied into the Bronco build as well, right? So they've started rolling out those pre-production units, and they're going to get into the full production units. But a lot of the construction they're doing on the exterior of the building is they're building an accessories installation center. And so as far as the details on that go, we're not sure if that's going to be kind of like, if you want to put a light bar on your Bronco, if you just drive it in there yourself, or if that's something that once they come off the line, they'll send it over to them. But again, that building they're constructing and knocked down and starting to put back up right now, that's going to be an accessories installation center. Because right now with these new Broncos, I mean, there's so many different ways you can option them. And then, they're even offering more accessories, for, again, those people that, a little bit more adventurous, want to get on the trails, maybe want bigger fender flares. They want, the suspension parts, or if they want light bars or the snorkels or roof racks, or, just to name a few things. But again, that's what that building is going to be primarily used for.
I noticed the Mitch is for sale. You guys can expand your footprint.
Yeah, who knows? We could have the Jack Demmer Pizza Shop right over there too. There you go.
Yeah, when I first became the district judge, I was amazed at how many people walked over from the Ford plant, and got hit by cars, because in the night they would walk over from the plant to go to the liquor store on their break.
Oh, wow.
A few people got struck while I was district judge in Wayne. Yeah, it's kind of hazardous,
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Years ago, Ford was one of the only, I think there were 2 car companies that had self-parking. The car would park itself. Now, and I thought that might have been a way Ford was on its way to driverless cars. Did that help them any, or if not, what happened with that technology? Did that help them as far as going to self-driverless cars?
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of that technology still exists. That was kind of like the advent of it, making its way to it. But those features still exist in that Ford, they call it the Co-Pilot 360 now. So now just into addition to just, pulling into just, like a parking spot that's just straight up and down, you can parallel park, you can back in. But yeah, a lot of that same technology exists and is what is being implemented with that, with the adaptive cruise control, using the same sensors, but now just broadening what it can do, right? Because before you just had sensors, proximity sensors telling you, again, how close something is, and yeah, it would stop the car once it got close enough. And now they're putting more advanced situations,
right,
using that same kind of technology that they're building off of.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
I have an advertising tip for you. I heard on the radio today from your competitor, and I didn't know this, but you can take anybody's Ford from wherever they bought it, and you can come to your house, to your business, and turn in your lease and buy one from you. And I did not know that. So I would advertise that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people think they got to stay with their same dealer all the time because they got this lease. So they were doing major advertising on the radio of that today.
We're helping that advertisement goes both ways. We'll let them to pay for the ad, and they can bring their cars back to us.
That's what I'm saying, but I mean, you need to let people know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there can be a lot of misconceptions about how the vehicles need to be turned back in, and I don't think the COVID situation helped at all. Too much either in the beginning because when the shutdowns first hit and people are getting like, hey, my lease is coming due, I got to get out of it. A lot of dealers would refuse to take the car in because they simply were just too booked up, and so that lended itself to that misconception, like, oh, I got to take it back to my dealer, and that's the one who can take it back in. But yeah, no, we're certainly able to to take in another lease turn in from even if you bought it from another dealer. Of course, we'd love to put you in a car of our own. But again, even those situations where a taste in your mouth from the other dealer and you're not maybe comfortable going back there, we certainly do have that ability to to take the lease in at our lot and make sure that you're squared away, with any remaining payments, or that again you're comfortable and you know what know the status of the car when you turn it in.
I've had good luck with Jack Demmer cars. When I married Milt in 1996, I bought my first Jack Demmer car, and every car I've had since has been from Jack Demmer Ford. Bill Collop was actually my salesman the first time I bought a vehicle there. And of course, he was the court officer at the 29th District Court. And little did I know, that I would end up working with him at the court. But always had a great experience with Jack Demmer's Ford, and always had great cars, great service, never an issue. So it's been a great experience for me. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate your continued business. So, and again, anytime you want to stop in and just say hi, we're always here. Again, I'm more than happy, and I'm sure Bob is always happy too. If you got questions on, on any of the Ford products or some of the new technology, because it can definitely be a little overwhelming right off the bat. But again, once you get on the road and you kind of understand how the engineers think you're going to use it, it ends up being a lot smoother drive all around.
And a lot of things that have been happening is delivery off-site, coming to your home, your office. And frankly, I've been doing that ever since I've been in at Jack Demmer. So this is not really anything new, but we're trying to promote it a little bit more. So if you have that fear or anxiety, let us bring a car to you.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Anybody else have anything for our speaker? Okay, well, thank you so much, Rob. And we do donate a book to the Wayne Public Library in honor of every speaker. That's part of our literacy program. So our librarian will pick out a book that's somehow related to cars, and we'll donate it in your name to the Wayne Public Library. It will have a book plate in the flap that has your name and the date that you gave your speech to the Wayne Rotary Club. And that's our way of thanking you. And every time somebody checks out that book, they will see your name and also your company name. So
excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was great hearing from you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure seeing you all as well.
Thank you for having business in our city. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. We're pretty much done. Or you're free to go if you like to, if you have other things you need to do.
Oh, I will, I'll hang tight. I'll sit through the rest of the meeting. So take it away.
Okay. All right. Well, I pretty much said everything that I meant to say earlier. I do want to mention Helen as a potential new member. This will be the first mention. We do go through a process where we mention 3 times and then we vote on it. So Stan, I think, is on his 3rd mention, and Vivian. So you will be hearing from us shortly. We do need your application, Stan. You haven't sent us our application. So we need that.
Okay, where do I send it?
Just email it back to me if you could.
Email.
If you could
Just
print
email.
it out
Okay.
and fill it in and then scan it and send it back to me, that would work.
I sure will.
Or
Thank you
you
very
can
much.
drop it off at my house if you like, if you're not comfortable scanning.
Okay, okay.
I'll give you my address.
Thank you.
So, okay, well, anybody have anything else? All right, then we will go ahead and close our meeting with the 4-way test. of the things we think, say, and do as Rotarians. I will lead the 4-way test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair?
You're all concerned.
Third, will it build goodwill
And beneficial.
Fourth, will it be beneficial
Beneficial to all concerned.
concerned? And fifth, will it be fun? Yay. Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming. Great meeting. And next week's meeting, again, will be an evening meeting at 7 o'clock. You'll get your invitation in the mail. It's by Zoom. And that will be our speaker talking about the Sudanese refugees. So if you want to hear some interesting stuff about what Rotary does internationally, that would be a good meeting to attend, because we're both a local and an international organization. So thank you again to our speaker, and thanks to everybody. Have a wonderful week. And again, well, happy spring. It's now spring. Yay.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, Rob.
Yep, thank you for having me.
I
Bye now.
see.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Rob. Oh, is
Yes.
he gone? Is it okay with you if I put this on, YouTube, this
Yeah.
recording?
Go right ahead. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll put on YouTube and put it on our Facebook page.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.